Hi everybody, it's Karen from Scrappy Canuck Studios, and I'm here today for May Arts Ribbon just to share with you a quick little tutorial, almost kind of like a tips and tricks for tying up these really small cute bows. I use these bows on so many different kinds of projects. This just happens to be a little post-it note holder, but I use them on cards and all sorts of embellishments because it really just takes a project like this and adds a lot of texture and gives it a little bit of a pop. Now, this ribbon that I'm using here is the Chevron Twill. This is a 3/4 inch. I think it's the perfect width for small projects like an A2 size card or something like this, which is a little post-it note holder. And one of the things though that I really like is I like having a big puffy bow. So even though I'm using a narrower width ribbon, I like it to look like the bow is really puffy. So this was a bow that I tied normally. And you can see here in the middle, this little knot part is quite wide. It's the full 3/4 of an inch essentially of the ribbon. And proportionally, it's about the same as the bow part sticking out on the side. But you'll notice that on this one that I tied here, this knot section is a lot smaller compared to the bows that are sticking out. And I think it gives the bow a bit more kind of puff and kind of gives you that kind of cute little bow look on your projects. So I'm just going to take some scissors and this ribbon and I'll show you how to tie it a little bit differently. All right, so I'm just going to start by untying this ribbon here, and everybody has their own technique for tying bows, and there's so many great ones out there, and this is just one way of doing it that happens to work for me. So essentially all I do is I want the length of the little part that sticks out at the bottom of the bow, kind of the ends, about the length of my thumb. So I literally take that and line it up with my thumb and then just pinch it in between my thumb and my index finger. And again, I'm trying to kind of get that size. Then I loop it back on itself like this and pinch it again through my finger. Now, normally we just kind of come around the bow like this and then you pull through. This is where the little trick comes in. So as I pull it around the back of my index finger like this, all I'm going to do is fold the ribbon in half and pinch it with my thumb right here. So I'll show you again. As I come around the back of my index finger, I'm just going to fold the ribbon in half like this. So this knot part that's coming across is going to be kind of half the width that it normally would be. And I'm just going to pinch it in between my thumb and my index finger. Now I'm just going to slide my index finger out and pull the rest of the ribbon through, just like you would normally do for a bow. And then all you're going to do is just make sure that everything, mine kind of slipped. I'm not sure if you can see that right here, but it kind of came apart and it didn't stay folded in half. So just before I pull things tight, I'm just going to make sure it's in half again. And then I'm just going to start to pull my ends of my bow and make sure everything is nice and straight and flat and not twisted, just like this. And then pull again. And then I'm just going to kind of play with it and just manipulate it until I get it kind of looking nice and puffy and flat. And I've got all those great little folds in it that are around the knot, just like this. And of course, pulling to make sure that the sides are even on each side of my bow. So it's quite a small bow given the fact that you're working with 3/4 of an inch ribbon here. But again, that's what gives you that really fullness and that full look to the bow, even though it's pretty small and you're putting it onto a smaller project. So just play around with it for a bit. You can see you can loosen it and then kind of puff it up a bit again. There you go. And you've got that middle section there that's looking pretty cute. This one doesn't want to behave on this side here. Okay, now I just want to trim this end. Now again, if I want to keep my proportions the same, I want it to stick out about half an inch right there from the end of where my bow is. So let's give myself about kind of half an inch kind of sticking off here. I want it a little bit shorter. Just like that. Perfect. I like to do the little V cut. It saves me having to use a flame to finish off the ribbon. It just kind of stays itself. I'll just trim it on that side. Perfect. And I have very little wasted ribbon here, just a little bit that I trimmed off. And if you really covet your ribbon and don't want to trim it off, you can always just open it up and retie it again before you do your cutting. And then we'll just kind of twist things around here. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just glue it right onto my project here. And then just puff things up. And I've got this great tiny small bow that works great on a small project but looks really full and puffy and all set to go. So I hope that you can maybe use this tying technique on one of your bows on a coming project, just to give a small project a really nice, big, full, puffy bow. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you enjoyed this little trick. And don't forget to come visit us over at the May Arts website. Check out all the other great colors that are in the chevron twill, and of course all the other beautiful ribbons that are there as well. Thanks for stopping by.